Hello, geeks worldwide. Welcome, one and all, to another exciting episode of the GeekSide podcast, where we're walking on the wild side, no, the crazy side, no, the geek side, with me, Darth Sparrow, at the helm, and as always, my team of beautiful peoples, my friends, my cohorts, my other two horse people of the apocalypse. I'm talking about Christina Walker and Darren Generally. Hello, my friends. What's going on?
Hello.
It's going.
Christina, tell us about the continuing saga of growing a small geek.
Oh, man. Well, as anyone who's been watching regularly probably noticed, I wasn't on the episode last or the one before that because I got into a car accident.
Oh, God.
It was minor. It ended up being okay. Our car is a little messed up. But I got 24-hour, got to be watched for 24 hours at labor and delivery at our hospital.
Yeah, they kind of tend to do that when you're this close to having the baby, right?
Yeah, I was having contractions every 3 minutes, which is scary. And it stresses the baby out and everything.
Yeah.
So they kept me over 24 hours, which sucked because I wasn't allowed to eat. And I hadn't eaten, like I had oatmeal that morning, but nothing else. It was kind of a nice test run, though, because I got to at least see what the place is like. And it lit that spark under our butt to not only get her room a little closer to being ready, but also to pack our hospital bag so that when the real day comes, like we have that go bag of snacks, our clothes, our toiletries, that sort of thing.
Yeah, do you imagine like baby was in there, like, you know, when you have a family and you practice like fire drills and your baby's like, is this happening? Are we doing this? Is this real? Are we going?
I think she did. I think she's probably like, I mean, it's early. I'm not baked yet completely, but I mean, if you insist.
It's like a cookie. It's still a little mushy on the inside. You're not quite there yet.
I'm week 36. That means I'm about 8 months pregnant. But pretty much anytime from the end of this week until my due date is go time. So
yes,
you never know. I could have her at pretty much any moment now.
So people, if all of a sudden we don't hear Christina for a little bit while she's getting acclimated to the new baby, that's why. She's almost there.
Yeah, almost. Very close.
Tune into the live stream of the birth.
but friend, we're excited you're okay from the accident, and we look forward to impending very soon babiness.
Tiny human.
Yes, tiny humans. Darren, generally, what is up, my man? The man who is always hard at work on the interwebs, posting about all the latest and greatest in the geek world. How's the world been treating you lately, my friend?
It's been treating me good. It's been giving me a lot of stuff to talk about. Definitely.
Shoot, man. Yeah, we did have a lot to talk. Yeah, last week was on me. We dropped the ball. We moved the day. Adult stuff, yada yada. We won't bore the people with all that stuff, but let's get into some news, people, because there's a whole lot to talk about. Now, this is going to surprise a lot of you, okay? Because you can see I'm wearing the Infinity War hat. You know, very excited about this. But I've somehow managed to not watch the new trailer. And you know what? It's funny. Like Avengers movies are one of the few, like we'll say Marvel movies when they're like approaching, where I try not to watch too many trailers and things like that. Everything else, I'm like, trailers, give it all to me. So I have yet to watch this new trailer. I almost did it, but wifey was like, nope, you said you weren't watching it. We only got 30 days left. You're not watching it yet. But you two watched it. Christina said she watched it like 8 times when it came out. I don't know how many times you watched it, Darren, but guys, go
at least that amount.
All right, go ahead and talk about it. I'll hear it through you. It won't be the same, you know, at watching it, but I want to hear your thoughts about it.
I'm gonna let Darren go first.
Darren.
Well, I mean, it was more of a story trailer, but it didn't give you a lot of plot details. It did give you some new visuals. You got to see kind of like a sneaking in a little bit of the Black Order. So there was a scene between Doctor Strange and Ebony Maw, and you kind of got to see them as a group standing around. But it wasn't there wasn't a whole lot of there was nothing spoilery in it. Like everything that they showed in that just really just hyped me to want to see the whole movie. Because it just is, okay, I want to see how this works and how this works and how this is going to fit in. And it had some cool moments. I mean, the Star-Lord Tony Stark exchange was awesome. That's almost worth the price of admission there.
Does it look like it's everything we're gonna want that interaction to be?
I mean, I think from the offset when you see it, it's almost like there's a moment where he's like, "Oh my God!" Is like where Tony Stark is like, "Oh my God, is this what I'm like to other people?
Yeah.
Like,
It's how every woman feels about being mansplained to, kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Accurate, right? Oh man. What else, Christina? What was your favorite thing about the trailer that you saw in there?
Oh man, probably that interaction actually, because I love Tony and Peter are my two. I just Thor is obviously my favorite. I've talked about it a lot, but I love them so much that I've been waiting for them to meet each other for quite a while, and I'm pretty excited about it.
So
but there were I think there was a lot of misdirections in that trailer too. I know that there's like a running bet going with a bunch of people about who's going to probably bite it. Someone's going to die. I'm pretty sure there's no way if Marvel doesn't kill somebody, they're kind of being huge. Yeah, they're being too safe, and that's just. I don't want anybody to die, but they kind of need to at this point. It's Infinity War. Like that's come on.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a lot of misdirections. It does look like Cap will probably die. Okay. Doesn't mean he will. There's definitely some scenes and the lead up from some of the past movies that gives me that gut instinct that it may be Steve, it may be Tony. I don't think it's going to be Vision. I think that's a huge misdirect.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Scarlet Witch either. Though I'm interested to see what's going to happen to their powers because I know that isn't her power based off of a stone as well? She doesn't have one, but I thought maybe.
Well, I think technically their powers were enhanced through the scepter, which was the Mind Stone, right?
Right. Okay, so that's what I'm like. I'm curious. Will that somehow will he be able to control her? And with Vision, like what's going to happen if they showed us in the original trailer. It looked like he was going to pop the stone out of Vision's head, which he has to obviously so we can get it on his glove. We know that's going to happen.
Sure.
But will that kill him? Probably. I feel like no, because
I think with the whole thing with Wakanda now and how easily they can regenerate cells and tissues and basically being people back from the dead almost, like I think that's going to play a role in it. I think that's my theory. But
if they kill Tony, who I would love to see be Iron Man?
Who?
Shuri.
Oh, you think she might be kind of the Riri from the comics?
She would be perfect because she's probably smarter than Tony, even when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
And I just think that would be cool. Yeah. And it'd be also cool to see Bucky or Falcon take on the Captain America mantle.
Yeah, Darren, you've been itching over there, man. What do you got to say, man?
Let's say because the only thing that I can say from a standpoint of somebody that's been following this for a while, and has seen things like I've literally seen both Tony and Cap on the set of Avengers 4, so they're not back-to-back films. So I don't know if they're going to die in this movie, but the fact that they filmed scenes for Avengers 4 means it could mean anything. But so I don't know. All I know is that like Chris Evans is talking about leaving after this one. Like his contract is up. Chris Hemsworth's contract is up. He's moving on. Still got RDJ there, but he's like I think he pulled the top 3 out and then kind of see where it goes. So if anything, I think that might be the direction of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. Either way, we know that we're going to be after Avengers 4. It's going to be a very different landscape as far as kind of who's the lead flagship characters of the next phase of the MCU. But and you know what? It's been a beautiful 10-year journey. It'll be sad to see some of our favorites go. But in another respect, I'm also kind of excited and looking forward to see what we can anticipate from the next 10 years because it seems like they've got films slated for the next 10 years. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. But what else? Speaking of one of those new characters that we're going to see in the next phase of the MCU, we're talking about Captain Marvel, which is in the midst of filming all over the place. Even shoot, man, they're even filming over here in Fresno, I guess, Christina, is what I heard.
What?
Yeah. I don't know if it's exactly in Fresno. I have an idea. I don't want to just drop it on there. I don't want to cause any insider craziness, but we'll say it's up north of us in a very wooded area where I heard they're going to be doing some filming. But if you don't know, Captain Marvel takes place sometime in the 1990s. So there's been a lot of speculation as to what returning characters from the past, the MCU past, we might be seeing. And we definitely got some big news recently with 3 of those characters, which are going to be none other than Agent Phil Coulson, played by Clark Gregg. We'll see Ronan the Accuser by Mr. Lee. Is it Pace? Pace? Yeah. And Jaimin Hunsu. And what's his character's name again? Gosh darn it.
Korath, the Pursuer.
Korath. Who? Yeah, that guy. So we got some big news. Other people are still out in the theory land, hoping that we maybe will see some Peggy Carter as well. We do know that she was at Marvel over the summer doing something. We haven't heard anything about her yet, so it could be that. We don't know. But Darren, let me talk to you on this for a second. What do you think that I mean, we know in the timeline obviously fits and it makes sense to bring these characters back. We know that Fury is going to be in there somewhere. We're going to maybe see some of the early days in Fury's career. But I was reading some interesting stories on what that might mean for the fact that Coulson is going to be in that and how that might affect what's been.
Oh no, he froze.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. Where did you lose me at? Where'd you lose me? I'm sorry.
Well, I think I got to do. I think from what I've seen, from what I understand, and then from what makes sense. So one, we can all agree that all of the casting makes absolute sense.
Sure.
With it taking place in the 90s, with it taking place in space,
right,
and the fact that it has to deal with the Kree, which is what Marvel was. Like
right.
It makes absolute sense to have Ronan in there. It makes absolute sense to have Korath, as his number one.
Right.
And then with the fact that Shield is involved with it, it means of course you're going to have Coulson there by his side.
Sure.
So all of those things make sense. Now, what one of the things that I'm hoping to see is that I'm hoping, and it sounds like they're going to get into a little like kind of Secret War stuff, where the reason why you don't see Carol is because she ends up on a mission for Nick at the end of the movie. That's why she's not necessarily, in the MCU timeline, as it were. Yeah. But which is probably the most interesting part of it. It's like because they're going to have to explain, where she is for like the next 20 years after that's over. So I think a Secret Wars thing with just having her fighting in space just makes sense. And then the only question you have to ask is why she's never mentioned in Guardians at all. So.
Good question, man.
Well, that's I was gonna say maybe the Guardians don't know about her.
Yeah.
And why would any of the villains bring her up? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I was going to say, Christina, how do you think that we'll address all that? Now, the other one of the articles I was reading was talking about how if we do see Coulson in this, and essentially he should know about the Kree, why does he not recognize them in the show? Like, where is that? But I mean, then again, I feel like they did a lot of tinkering with his brain when they brought him back. It would be easy to wipe a big portion of his brain, or maybe that was an after effect of the technology that brought him back to life. I don't feel like it's necessarily a thing that's gonna, we'll say wipe away any of the stories that they've told on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Do you agree?
I think there's a part of it. I think one of the things that, Sam Jackson said as Nick Fury is that, not everyone has to know all the secrets. You got
to compartmentalize, as he says.
So I think there are going to be things that Phil knows, but he might know about aliens. He may not necessarily know about Kree.
Yeah.
So it might be one of those things. Yeah, it might be one of those things where he gets enough information to do the thing that he's tasked to do.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury's kind of, doing everything else.
I agree.
Because it just seems like there's a bigger role for Sam in this than Phil. I think Phil's there for continuity and because it's about damn time that he's back on the big screen.
Back on the big screen, yes.
Right. But I don't think he's necessarily there as as a plot point.
Yeah. Christina, who are you most excited about seeing return to the big screen for this movie?
Oh man, I'm just excited to see Carol.
Yeah,
finally.
Yes.
Seeing Coulson again would be great. I mean, I've always been really sad that we don't have the shorts anymore, and that hasn't been in the last how many movies now? I don't even know anymore. Like in
Wow.
really any of them in a very long time.
There hasn't been any of them since first Avengers.
Yeah. And I just this movie's been way long overdue.
Agreed. Agreed. I can't wait, guys. Speaking of other long overdue movies that we're excited about, we got another trailer for Deadpool 2.
Yes.
More crazy, more Ryan Reynolds being awesome. Guys, what did you think about the trailer?
It was perfection.
Oh yeah, it was awesome from start to finish.
I love it. I love his cab driver.
Movie stays that way. I hope the movie. Yes, the cab driver. I'm so glad he's back.
Yes.
I hope that the movie is it's not one of those trailers where it's like they show you all the funny stuff and then the rest of it's because I was worried about Deadpool 1 with that first trailer. Where I was like, oh, they probably should, and they did. They showed us a lot of the funniest moments in the trailer, but it was still great. And I'm hoping the second one is still this good, especially since they're putting in New Mutants.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot they can fuck up with that. So
does this kind of look like it's leading into the X-Force movie, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Potentially.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because that's been the next thing on the slate, especially for I think it was Simon Kinberg. I think he's writing it. I think he wrote the script for. So I think that's their next big push.
Yeah.
And then I don't know when. I'm sure we'll get to what's going on with the Dark Phoenix, but I think that's kind of where they want to go, where Fox wants to go with the X franchise. And then, frankly, I'll be honest with you, all of this could end up being mid-year 2019 anyway, when the whole Fox Disney sale goes through.
Right.
But I think X-Force is the direction they're trying to go in, and they're trying to put it on the same level as Deadpool and not make it as family friendly, I guess, as the X-Men movies are supposed to be.
Which could work. I'm just concerned because they don't have the greatest track record with X-Men related things. So that concerns me. Deadpool is great. They got Colossus perfect. Like that's the best version of him I've ever seen. It was very true to his character. So if they can do this with everybody else, even if the stories change, whatever, if they can make the characters still the characters, okay. Yeah. It just makes me really, really worried. But Deadpool, I know they've nailed it. Like that's
Guys, let's talk about a little bit about, because we saw a lot of new faces in this trailer, a lot of which I know very little about. I don't know how much you guys know about some of the other mutants that we saw in this trailer, but maybe if you guys can elaborate on who you saw or who you're most excited about to see of the new mutants that they put in this trailer.
I honestly, with the exception of Shatterstar, I didn't recognize a lot of them. But everyone's kind of speculating. So it's the whole, like, at this point, it's the whole, is Carol Danvers standing behind Chris Evans thing in the War trailer?
Yeah, right.
So I'm trying to just kind of keep it the way it is. Like, I would have loved to have seen Bishop.
Okay.
But
oh my God, please, yes.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, I think whoever Terry Crews is playing, I'm just, I'm on board. I think I want to discover who they're playing, who they're interpreting, rather than just kind of seeing it. I think it's the same way with the Black Order for Infinity War. Like, we don't know what actors are playing those roles yet, and that's gonna be awesome.
I was surprised to see Pennywise in there. I'm like, what's he doing in there? I didn't even know he was in this movie.
Of it all, and just kind of was like, well, who is he playing?
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, I just want to discover. I want to discover because rather than my knowing, I want to hear Deadpool's explanation of who this person is.
Yeah, and how they got there, right?
Right, exactly, and why they're there, and the recruiting moment.
Yes, because they're all going to be like priceless if they run through that. They're going to be like something.
I need that montage.
Yeah. Friends, what is his roommate's name? I cannot remember her name for the life.
Blind Owl.
Blind Owl. Yes. I love that we get more of her too. I love their dynamic with each other. It's so perfect.
I'm so glad Michelle Nichols
played by Mr.
That's
Leslie Uggams.
Yes, it's so good. Yes, more her, more Morena Baccarin, more the cab driver. all our favorites are back, and all kinds of new stuff.
And Colossus and Cable.
Yes.
And I would say that I would love to see Shard and Bishop. And who knows, maybe they'll have a cameo, which would probably make me pee myself in the theater. Especially after seeing Thor Ragnarok, because Heimdall, the way his costume was, I'm like, if this isn't a nod to Bishop, I don't know what is, because that was rad.
Yeah, that hairdo, those dreads, that was straight.
Yeah. Well, and then of course we got the glimpse of what most people who love Storm and have always wanted to see. Why am I forgetting what that actress's name is?
Alexander Shipp or Halle Berry?
No, God, not Halle Berry. No. From Black Panther. Pregnancy brain's a real thing, guys. The lady that played his mother. Oh my God.
Angela
Bassett.
Thank you. I have always wanted to see Angela Bassett with Storm because she's so gorgeous, and like that white hair and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that was a nod too, I think.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm good with it. Yes. When I should know this. I should know this, kids. When does Deadpool 2 hit theaters?
May 18th.
May 18th, 2018. More Marvel goodness in May. That's right. Well, it's actually technically April and May now, but whatever. But Darren, you already touched about our next news story, and your favorite series of comic book movies in the whole comic book universe, Christina, the X-Men, has had some big shakeups as far as shuffling things around when some of their next big movies are coming out. Friends, why the change on the dates when we're talking about Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants, which has now been moved to, looks like February 22nd, or actually August. Or it's all got moved to 2019 next year, right?
I'm just saying, Fox, so that's probably why.
Yeah, the thing is that it was supposed to come out November of this year.
Right.
Then it got moved to February of next year.
Correct.
Then it got moved to August again.
Yeah.
And it's because of and the explanation that I keep hearing is that, massive reshoots, adding new characters.
Yeah.
One of the biggest, I say probably the biggest rumor is that they're adding Warlock or Douglock to the movie, which would require, additional reshoots because you're gonna have to do special effects, whole techno-organic thing. But at the same time, like,
if I don't know, I feel like this late in the game when we're talking like it's the year already where they're gonna release a movie and now they're going back to do that much of reshoots. That's like we're talking like Justice League level of reshuffling, restructuring a movie because somebody saw it and said it's crap.
Justice League didn't take that long to come out.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. It doesn't sound good to me. I'm very uneducated about how the whole movie process works. It doesn't sound like a good thing to me.
I said, because I'll be honest with you, if you're going to ask my anticipation on both of those films, I'm more interested in the New Mutants than I am in Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Like, New Mutants looks interesting in the sense that it looks like a break from the tradition. It looks like
is that the one that kind of made the trailer look like a horror movie? Almost?
Yes, it's like they're taking on the horror genre.
Right.
It's still weird to me, but yes, I agree.
It's a weird term, but at the same time, it's a chance. It's a chance that they're taking. I'm willing to see a chance versus them making another attempt at the same story.
Yeah.
By the guy who wrote the original bad version of that story.
Yes.
Like you got Simon Kinberg wrote X-Men: The Last Stand.
Right.
And now he wrote and directed Dark Phoenix. It was like he already had his shot. And Fox just gave him another pass at
it. We're good. We can give him something. Throw him a bone. Throw him a bone here, Scott.
That might actually be the worst movie out of all of them. I think that might actually I don't know. I think that is the worst one.
You look like you just threw up in your mouth a little bit, Christina.
I think I did.
Thinking about it, you're just like, okay.
The tour de force directed.
How dare you pick the bell? How dare you pick like the coolest X-Men stories and then just like
shit
completely
on them?
God, like Oh man, yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
Like I said, if anything, they should have switched release dates and taken more time with Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
That come out.
Yes.
Well, interesting. Yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about that either. I don't think I was necessarily thrilled with the newly casted Young Mutants, but whatever. At this point, McAvoy and Fassbender are the only thing that's keeping it alive for me, anyways. Yeah. Not to say well, but only thing keeping it alive. Okay, that's all we're gonna say about that. Speaking of Marvel movies and team up and putting these beautiful people in other movies, if you loved, which I did, I'm sure you guys did, tons of people loved the chemistry between Thor and Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok. We're talking about Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. They're gonna be, well, we can't really say Men in Black. What do we say? People in Black? In the no, but they would be the Men in Black. Yes, in the organization. Yes. So a reboot has been talked about. It's obviously happening now because they've just cast these two, and apparently it's not going to be a complete reboot. It's going to be more of we'll say, an expansion on the universe, from what I read. Yeah. Apparently it's not total, but they're not taking over the roles that Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith made famous. They're just going to be other agents. Are you guys? I'm excited about this because I loved their chemistry. They had some really fun moments, and especially when they're fighting, jumping on the ships, and doing all the cool things in Thor Ragnarok. What's your thoughts on first off a Men in Black reboot, and then having them at the lead roles on this new project?
I think honestly, the fact that they are not, the new agents J and K, gives me more hope in like basically makes me want to see it.
Right.
Because the fact that they're literally saying, hey, you know what? We all knew that, going into the movie that that the Men in Black is an organization. So if you're going to go ahead and have another story from that same world, from that same organization, then that's fine. That's kind of what I want to see. If you're not going to have Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones anymore, and you still want to have that world, then make all new characters.
I mean, for God's sakes, they're in the headquarters. There's a lot of other agents in that room. I mean, there's got to be other cool shit going on in the universe.
But see, here's my thing, though. My thing is my logic thing that has always been.
Logic, Meester. Throw it my way.
So there's probably like multiple facilities. Are they really just going to tell you that there are, in fact, only 26 members of this organization? If there are more than 26 members of this organization, what happens after you get to Z? Because you're going to have an Agent A, you've got to have an Agent A to Agent Z. Do they wait till people retire?
Or die?
Or die, and then that person, then you're just giving that person's name. What if your name starts with D and and Agent D is still alive? These are the questions I have.
These are the ones that keep you up at night, right, Darren?
Exactly. These are the questions I have. So what if there's like a satellite group over in, Nova Scotia? Is it Agent AJ, or do they progressively add a letter?
Darren, what if they're like there's a base in Mexico or Central America? Are they like Agent A and Agent B? Or
Thank you very much. What about the Cyrillic alphabet?
Yes, come on.
Come on.
We need answers, people. You better answer this in the next movie, or we're pissed. Christina, what's this looking like so far for you?
I'm pretty excited about it. I really love the Men in Black movies, and I liked the chemistry between the two of them. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Hopefully, it's not. Well, people are gonna complain about it no matter what. I mean, we saw what happened with Ghostbusters. In Star Wars.
Yes.
Oh God. Which that complaining, by the way, which we could segue later, has already begun again. It's like I have such PTSD from like.
If you're wondering why, people, it's because the movie hit Blu-ray, DVD, 4K today, and the haters are out in force again.
It's the best.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm sincerely waiting for a group of them to buy a bunch of copies and like steamroll them,
burn them, shoot
fire.
them.
I'm waiting for those videos because I'm still going to laugh at the fact that you bought them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still put money in the bank.
Yeah, my Facebook has been somewhat quiet. Like I've got 2 friends that still like I swear to fuck. They complain about it every single day, and I'm just like, can you please move on?
Yes.
It's only gotten to where now it's multiple times a day because the Blu-ray came out, and I'm just like. But anyway, back to Men in Black. Yes,
Yes.
I am excited. I am excited to see it. I think that whole I miss that whole like that time period where like aliens were cool and we got had X-Files and then like movies that came out like that. So I think that
and like secret government organizations that deal with aliens.
And literally an awesome Rick Baker makeup effects. That's
yes,
really what I'm looking forward to.
I still want to one day dress up at a con as what's his name, Edgar, in the loosely fitting human suit.
Oh my god!
Just walk around like twitchy and like a man came in here. Dead man had something very dear to me. I'd like to have it back. Yes, just look like I haven't showered in days.
Yes, I call him the Steve Bannon suit.
Yes, the Steve Bannon suit.
I need sugar and water.
Yummy. Christina's like, ooh. We need some more of that. Friends, let's talk about Cloak and Dagger. That is definitely a comic book franchise series characters that I know shit about. I know they look really cool on a cover, and I like how he's always like hovering over her with the big cape. but they're bringing them to the small screen on Disney's Freeform network. It's set to premiere on Freeform, and it had its debut this month at South by Southwest. The premiere received positive reviews, with many people saying there's something for everyone. There was a trailer. Darren, since I'm reading this directly off of your post, talk to me about that trailer, brother.
Well, there's been a couple of trailers actually especially from when they announced it. For some reason, it's been a weird anticipation for this series, for these characters, which in the comics they've kind of appeared, but have never really kind of penetrated other than just being there and showing up on other people's comics, specifically like Spider-Man occasionally. But for some reason, when they announced the series, there was a lot of buzz around it. Like a lot of people speculating on who they wanted the characters to be. But from everything that I've read, everything I've seen, like there's been a lot of positive reaction to the story, both the characters and the action and the special effects. And what's interesting is that they've got just a little recap on the characters themselves. So you got these 2 kids, one, God, I don't want to do this, but one African American gentleman and a Caucasian young lady.
Okay, I got you.
I'm being that guy.
I smoked you stepping in.
Yeah. But they meet. They're from opposite sides of the tracks, as it were. They meet and they fall for each other. Now, in the comics, what happened was that they were both kidnapped and experimented on.
Okay.
And it unlocked their powers, and their powers work in tandem with each other. Like she throws like these light blades, and he can envelop people in darkness and teleport. Things of that nature. So I don't know how they're going to change that skill set for the series, but from what it looks like is that from a story perspective, it looks like there's going to be the relationship between the 2 of them is going to be directly linked to their powers.
Okay.
Like the fact that they both have powers separate from each other.
Yeah.
Something happens when they get together that enhances those powers, and I think that's it. I think it's an interesting message. I think that's probably what people are kind of connecting to.
Right.
So, and then I like the fact that they kind of flipped the story a little bit, because you had in the comics, it was a little cliche. You had like the girl was from the rich side of town, and the guy, of course, was from the poor side of town. They kind of flipped that to where she's homeless and he's comes from a kind of affluent family. So
okay, I got
it's going to be interesting to kind of see. And then because they've changed so much of it, I'm more interested in seeing it because I want to see something new with characters I thought I knew.
Yeah, Christina, how familiar are you with these two characters, if at all?
Moderately to minimum. I've seen them pop up in other comics, sort of like Moon Knight. Like,
Yeah.
I really like him, and I know from video games and from some comics, like quite a bit about him. Like, but like just the basics. And then also one of my really great friends, actually Tony and Jesse both, cosplay Cloak and Dagger. So that's kind of how I got into. I'm like, I don't really know much about them, and then started kind of researching them way back when they cosplayed them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I think it's interesting they're putting it on Disney Freeform, which I feel like is more aimed towards like teenagers and young kids, but that's also fantastic because Marvel should be for everybody.
Absolutely.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And I like what Darren said, that they're kind of changing up how their powers work together. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking at it kind of the same way Runaways works on Hulu.
I was just gonna say, Darren, because I'm already getting a kind of a Runaways vibe from the trailer, which I like because I was like, you know what, I got into Runaways way late. I'm talking like 7 episodes had already been out before it even popped up on my radar. And man, I couldn't stop watching as soon as I started. So if it's gonna have that same kind of feel and that same level of storytelling, which I mean, I feel like it's, for being on such a small screen, it's a really great series. Yeah, and it's really it's a really great series. So I'm hoping it's similar.
Yeah, and I think the fact that it is on Freeform is gonna give it some breathing room. So it's not a show that's gonna have to, I guess, bring in advertisers and advertising revenue, so they can kind of concentrate more on story.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of what, it's kind of the reason why people have been, having such a positive reaction to it, is because they're concentrating on story more than spectacle.
Yeah. Did either of you see the article that was saying, oddly enough, we're talking about Runaways, how I think it's somebody from the Runaways, I want to say, or I can't remember from which show they were, but they're saying they hope that maybe they can do a crossover with the two series.
Yeah, I've read that, and I think that's probably more. I think honestly, that's probably a bigger possibility than anything else, because I think Disney has I think when Disney gets, when the buyout goes through, they're going to get a stake in Hulu as well. So
okay.
I think it's something you'll definitely. I think it's something you'll definitely see more than you'll see. I think you'll probably see that before you see like the Runaways on like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
Yeah,
right. Or one of the Netflix shows or something. So.
Yes, I got you, buddy. I'm with you. Good stuff, Christina. Being that I know that you're a fan of the Solos and the Harrison Fords, you heard about Indy 5 apparently is going to be happening. Is going to start happening pretty quick here.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Hey, as long as it's not for, oh god,
as long as it's not Shia LaBeouf, you mean?
I legitimately forget about that movie sometimes because I've seen it literally once. I've not seen any more than that. That was one of the worst nights of my life, by the way.
Yeah.
Not because the movie was utter garbage, but partially. Someone messed up my car really bad by like hitting and running that night, and then it was just, the next day was terrible. There's a lot of reasons why I hate this movie, and it gives me weird vibe. Like, I can't even stand hearing its name. I should probably try to watch it again, but I feel like I would need to be really drunk. I just hope that number 5, they like learned from number 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. It scares me. It scares me real bad.
But I mean, okay, how much? Obviously, there's stunt doubles and CGI and all kinds of stuff. But how much actually can Harrison Ford do in that role at this point? I mean,
not a lot.
He's pretty old. Okay, I hate to say it, he's pretty old.
I mean, he was having a hard time in 4, and that was like what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's scheduled to start filming a whole another year from now. That's next year in 2019.
And I'm not knocking him or being ageist. Like that's you still have an indie movie without him doing a whole lot. I suppose. But
right.
What are they going to do with like Shia LaBeouf's character? Are they still going to put him in there? Have they said anything about that? Are they going to pretend 4 never happened, which I would like?
Yes.
What's going to happen? I don't know where the story could go anymore.
Yes. Darren, what are you thinking over there, man?
There's still aspects of 4 that I will defend.
Okay.
All right. And I'll defend it for one very simple reason.
All right, let's hear it.
Squinting at you.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. The Indiana Jones movies are products of the time that they're set in.
Okay.
So 10 years after the Nazis,
yes.
what was this? And they were created as an homage to the old serials that used to play before films.
Sure.
And those like adventure series. So as a product of their time after the Nazis, what in the 50s was the genre of films that was the most popular?
Not monkeys.
No, not monkeys. Aliens.
Yeah, okay.
Alien invasion movies.
Okay.
That's the only aspect of the film that I will in fact defend.
You're talking about like it came from outer space.
Exactly. All the flying saucer films.
Yes.
All of those took place in the 50s, along with movies about communism. So what did they do for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
They put in communists and aliens.
Okay.
Now, they could have cut Shia LaBeouf out of it because his character just did not work at all.
Just do it.
I think taking it from the perspective of what they were trying to do, there's still aspects of it I defend. At the same time, I'm with you because now it's 10 years later, they're moving into the 60s, and then what?
What was popular in the 60s, Darren?
Popular in the 60s was like, I mean, is it going to be like
cowboy movies?
Yes. Yeah, no, in the 60s it's going to be like gritty
spaghetti westerns?
It's like the 60s was like gritty, like urban, like New York films. I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't know what they could do at this point unless they just kind of try and keep it in the 50s. But at the same time, you're dealing with themes that don't necessarily work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like my thing has always been, indie punches Nazis.
Yes.
Well, and a lot.
Okay. Arguably, we could say like Indiana Jones is one of those characters that's kind of like, I don't know, James Bond, I guess. There's a lot of story we could talk about Indy. Do we feel like at some point there's going to have to be some sort of passing of the torch? Being, I think as iconic a character as he is, it's a character that needs to end. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think, like, honestly, like James Bond.
Yes.
It's a suit.
Yeah. True.
Not even a costume. It's a suit and a car.
Yeah.
And if you write it really well, you can move that forward with anybody in that role.
Right.
This is Indiana Jones.
Yes.
It's more. He's not a fedora and a whip. Those are just things that's a character you can't particularly. I could never see someone else's Indiana Jones.
Nope.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have the swagger or the scar or the cute half smile or just all of the awesomeness that is Harrison is Indy.
Yeah. Remember there was that rumor that Chris Pratt was going to be Indiana Jones or something?
Yeah.
Everybody's getting excited about that. Or did we all try to forget about that?
Like, I love Chris Pratt. I do, but leave Indiana Jones alone.
Yes, agreed.
I think we took it with the grain of salt that was given, and it's just like, oh, that's cute. Let's move on.
Oh, that's nice.
You're already casting somebody else's Han Solo, which really chaps my ass. So how about we just leave Indiana Jones alone? Can we just do that, please?
Yes.
I think the fact that, like, honestly, I think the fact that Spielberg had to tell people that Harrison Ford was playing Indiana Jones is the only way that movie will get made.
Yeah.
Because if they said, "Hey, we're doing another Indiana Jones movie, and we're either rebooting the character or bringing somebody in to play young Indiana Jones," I think Universal or Lucasfilm or whoever, I think Lucasfilm would be like, "You know what, Steven, we love you, but no, I'm not."
Yeah. They may have told him, they should have maybe told him no anyway after 4, but you know, that's just my opinion. Who knows? Maybe the script is actually good this time. I mean, I'm totally gonna see it because it's indie. I'm just so wounded.
My thing is that who can he punch now?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Ooh. Maybe Shia LaBeouf was a Nazi all along, and then we find that out.
Or Casper Spencer in it. The real, he's a real neo-Nazi, and then have him punch him.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe Indy punches the Klan in the South.
Ooh, I like that.
You know what? That could work.
Let's do it.
But then at the same time, like, what would he be looking for? Who would prompt him?
Well, you know, that's a whole other can of worms. The Klan steals planks from Noah's Ark that they're going to use to burn a cross on Martin Luther King's wall, and has to come in and rescue the cross before it's burned. I'm here for the cross.
It's still a better story than 4.
True, accurate.
So belongs on the ark.
Darren killing it right now. Folks, if you're listening out there, Darren can be reached at to write your next script. Thank you very much. Killing it, buddy. Killing it. We touched on James Bond a little bit, which is a good spot for our next story. The long-awaited, long-talked-about 25th James Bond film could possibly have a writer/director in the form of Danny Boyle, who was known for directing films like Trainspotting, 127 Hours, and Slumdog Millionaires, which are all arguably pretty solid movies.
Yes.
And of course, now that we know for sure that Craig is coming back for at least this next one.
He's such a good Bond.
He is. I love him. It's funny. I took a while to warm up to him as Bond, Christine. Yeah. Like, I don't think I watched that first one that he did until it was like way out in DVD for a while.
Casino Royale's like, I saw that I don't know how many times in theaters. I was so skeptical. Incredible. I grew up watching Bond, and I saw when they cast him. I remember looking at him going, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
like I remember looking at him like this. He is not attractive to me. Well, he ended up being attractive to me, but at first it's like he is not attractive.
It was when he got out of the beach in the man speedo, right? That just sealed the deal for you?
No, like legit, like that whole opening scene, that whole entire opening is my favorite opening scene in any Bond movie.
Right.
Really, it's honestly probably it's probably my favorite Bond movie besides like Goldeneye. Like
I'm gonna have to say it's mine.
It's so good. I saw it so many times, and I couldn't encourage people enough to go see it. And he won me over in that first like couple of minutes. Just he encapsulates that character so well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that he's
Mm-hmm. I thought it was awesome because I thought he was the brutal Bond from the books. And I saw it. I was just like, hey, this dude from Layer Cake.
Yeah, that's where I was like, well, he's not a good Bond, but he is.
Yeah. But then, like, I was like, okay, well, he is. It's like he's Bond from the books. And that's like everyone else was as much as I love those films, and I grew up with them as well. Like. Mm-hmm. They were all stylized. This was, Bond.
Right.
So my thing is that unfortunately, though, this whole thing has been tainted from the beginning, at least and partly in my mind, from like literally just Craig talking about how all the things he would rather do to himself, short of self-immolation. Mm-hmm. Instead of doing another Bond movie.
Was he maybe on drugs at that point? Was he drunk?
I don't know. I mean,
because he changed his tune pretty quick, I think.
I mean, it has to be pretty rough to be those movies. Because to be honest, like, because in my opinion, anyway, Casino Royale is like the really only solid one.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked Skyfall actually quite a bit. The more I watch Skyfall, the more I like it. I didn't care for it at first.
Yeah.
I just can see how when you're have that much pressure as a character, how it could get stale. Bitching about it so much, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that Harrison Ford bitched a lot about being Han Solo.
Yes.
And Christopher Eccleston complains about being every character pretty much always. Yeah, I can see where Darren's coming from on that, though.
Yeah.
But I'm excited it's Danny Boyle. I love Danny Boyle a lot. I think that he can bring a lot of really interesting aspects of the table with a Bond movie, because I personally like the more serious take. Casino Royale did a really good job of mixing some of the humor, but it was very close to the book, which I personally appreciate. It's the only Bond book I've ever read.
Okay.
And I think that Danny Boyle will probably nail a really good movie.
I agree. I think having somebody like him behind the camera and at the story will put it in the caliber of a Casino Royale.
Yes.
Rather than some of the other ones that maybe weren't as solid, like you said.
What do you think? It's not good, in my opinion. I didn't like it very much at all.
Yeah. What do you think about having Danny Boyle on board for the next Bond, Darren?
Oh, I'm absolutely on board with it. I love Slumdog. I love Trainspotting. I didn't particularly like a lot of aspects of the sequel, but you know that's my own personal thing. But I think but I think having him writing and directing means that it's going to be that everything I've seen him do has been story based.
Yes.
So the fact that he's writing it means I think we're going to see a better story for a Bond film, and by that, you know, by extension, a better Bond film overall. So I think, if anything, that might be one of the things that that kind of gets Daniel Craig, you know, back in the positive role of talking about.
You were life into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's a different. I think it'll be a different look and feel, which is also something I'm looking forward to in a Bond film. Like I think one of the things I've loved about the Craig films is that they because you know the Brosnan films in the end it was way too much tech, and I'm an IT guy, and I was just like, let's just
tech heavy. Calm it down, people.
All right, thank you. Too many buttons.
Yeah,
but I like that they've made these films gritty and taking kind of Quantum of Solace out of the equation. I think that there's been a good through line with the character through all of these.
Right.
So I think Boyle will keep it consistent and add something new to it.
Yeah.
Agreed, friends. I love, and like we already said, I love Daniel Craig as James Bond. I'm just excited to see him as Bond again.
Me too.
Yeah. Christina, the newest news from Camp DC is they're going to have another amazing, powerful lady direct one of the upcoming DC films. We're talking about Ava DuVernay is in talks to direct the New Gods for Warner Brothers. What do you know about the New Gods, friend? Tell us a little bit.
I actually don't know that much about the New Gods. But I am really excited. I'm so excited that they've got a woman director. I mean, God, like listen to what you did with Wonder Woman,
right?
And learn from it. And I'm hoping that this is a step in the right direction. But I actually don't know that much about them. I'm not a huge I've always been more of a Marvel person than a DC person. So.
Yeah. So what little I know, and I'm going to Darren because he's like the kid in the back. I know. Right now. That's like raising his hand right now. But so we do know that she's the one that directed A Wrinkle in Time, which is now almost at 100 million apparently, and obviously she did good with that. And I think it's an exciting thing to have more females behind the camera of awesome comic book movies that are about Darren.
Well, I mean. The entire Fourth World series is like probably some of the best characters in writing Jack Kirby and has
from good old done. Jack,
created all of these characters. Like when he left Marvel, and went to DC, this is what he brought with him. It's like I have this entire world full of characters that I want to talk about. It's like a techno futuristic version of the Olympian gods. So you have I got
Darkseid's on there.
So you got Darkseid. Darkseid is pseudo Hades and High Father is pseudo Zeus, and you've got all the other characters that represent like Poseidon and Mercury and all of them. And it's all set in just the opposite world of New Genesis and Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. So they've just been at war for centuries, and then they, in order to have peace between the two worlds, both Highfather and Darkseid have to trade their firstborn sons to each other.
Okay.
So, so Highfather gives his son over to Darkseid to raise, and Darkseid raises him. That's Calabac, and Darkseid gives his son to Highfather, and that's Orion.
Right.
So it's a great story. Just like huge, just great action, and just the fact that they always worked as standalone stories, even when they kind of touched on the rest of the DC universe. They actually didn't even have to, and still told great stories. Yeah. And the fact that she's a fan of that world, because she's expressed like one of her favorite characters is Big Barda, who is one of my favorite characters because I love Mr. Miracle. So I'm literally doing an entire like separate thing where I'm just explaining the new gods to everybody.
Yes,
that's wonderful. So look out for that one. But I'm excited for it. I'm absolutely excited for it.
All kinds of new, expansive, spacey DC stories are good.
Yeah, because then we get to see Darkseid.
Yeah, dude.
Darkseid just becomes not a concept; becomes a person.
Which they're kind of already like. They've already kind of made that connection in Justice League, because isn't that where Steppenwolf and the Parademons are from, right?
But that was dumb. No, it was. I mean,
no, bad example, bad way.
Anyone, it should have been Calabac.
Yeah, right.
If they were going to send anyone to be the villain with a direct connection to Darkseid, it should have been Calabac.
Yeah, so. Not the really badly CGI'd guy.
Yeah.
Not that.
Although Calabac's like head is just like 4 times bigger than his body. So
really? Yeah. That'll be interesting to see on screen.
It looks like a shaved chimp.
Okay. All right. Could work.
Attractive.
Very attractive.
But I'm just saying, this as a character wise, like Steppenwolf was always, behind Darkseid, kind of whispering in his ear because he was his uncle. But from a story perspective, Calabac would have been a better choice. But if she's going to take on this world, then I want to see her vision of it. Yeah, that's what I'm really excited for.
Okay.
I think they're going to take the Zack Snyder take Zack Snyder's vision of it out of there, and just I want to see Ava's version of the new gods.
Take Zack Snyder out of all the things, except for 300 and Watchmen. Yeah. I'll keep him in that one.
I like Sucker Punch personally.
You know what? Sucker Punch, I liked if they would have just taken out the dance scenes and put them in a movie. Just that. I could have done with just those scenes.
I like it visually a lot.
The extended version, or the director's cut, is actually it's far superior to the theatrical release.
Ooh, see, I haven't seen that version.
It explained it will. If you guys haven't, if you guys are like, oh, I like it, try seriously to watch the director's cut. The things that happen in the sequence in that movie make so much more fucking sense. They make you kind of understand a little bit more what's going on, and you just do it. Even if you don't like it, whatever, make a drinking game out of it. But just seriously, watch the director's cut. It's actually much better.
Got it. I was gonna finish with that really cool line, but I think I was gonna screw it up, and it wouldn't have been. What does Scott Glenn say about never write a check with your mouth that you can't cash with your ass? Is that what it was?
I think so. Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is that wrong?
Could be wrong. Close. I don't know. I liked his character.
Something my great grandpa would say.
Yes, I like. See, that's why I like that. I'm like, this is very grandpa advice every time. Kind of like it. Christina, my friend, what did you do for your Wide World of Geek weekly this week around, or last 2 weeks since we saw you?
It's been pretty crazy because of the car accident and everything else. And we've been taking tons of classes, a lot of birthing classes. But I managed to finish Jessica Jones. I actually blew through it in 2 days. And really loved it. I didn't like it as much as season 1.
Okay.
But that's because I related to season 1 on a very personal, cathartic level.
Sure.
But season 2 was also really great, in my opinion. A lot of people, I think it's pretty much hit and miss. People either really liked it or they didn't. I thought that the character development was pretty good. The twist in it was kind of expected. What was funny is I thought it was going to be her brother, not her mom.
Yeah.
But I I feel like the actors did a really good job in this one. Like, they really got into their roles, especially Jerry.
See, and that's I thought the same thing. And one of my friends' critique on it was he said the acting was terrible. I'm like, did we even watch the same show, dude?
It was really good.
She was amazing.
Yeah, no. That was one of my favorite aspects of this season, was really getting to watch Jerry Hogarth as a character overall just really develop. I mean, she was kind of almost along the lines of that like Coulson character that we keep seeing pop up in all these shows, and just has little bits and pieces here and there, but never really is super developed as a character. And really to get to see her and what makes her tick and how she deals with things, that was a really cool thing. And I love Carrie-Anne Moss. She's such an amazing actress. She's just killer. She just kills that, like, you know, that slightly femme fatale and very calculated and very like just kick-ass character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm trying to think if I did anything else that was geek worthy. Probably. I could just never like, I do stuff every day, so I could never think of like exactly
what do I do.
Trying to figure out what games to download and play for when the baby comes and I can't sleep. If you has any good suggestions, let me know.
Yes.
First one is sleep when the baby sleeps.
Yep.
I'm gonna do my best to sleep, but I know myself. I'm gonna probably like want to do things.
Yes.
Or not be able to sleep because I'll be so anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still working on the house. Still ticking away. It's my comic book stack that is. Oh, I don't even want to talk about how deep this stack is. It's bad. Yeah, that's really that's all I could think of. I mean, that's all I've really had time to do.
Guys, I actually went. I haven't been a while. I've been kind of lagging on visiting my local comic shop, and I actually went over the weekend and picked up 2 comics. And I was like, I'm gonna read these before the show and talk about them. Guess what? I didn't read them, but I have Doomsday Clock 2 and 3. I think 4 is coming out tomorrow. Maybe. Do you know, Darren?
Yeah.
4 comes out tomorrow. So I'm gonna have to go pick up 4 and read them all this weekend and talk about them next week. But I'm gonna tell you my big accomplishment over the weekend, which I feel like there should be like a badge for it because I've been bitching about this thing since I got it Christmas. I beat one of the hardest games on the history of games ever created. I beat fucking Cuphead. That game was the biggest bitch. I killed it. I destroyed it. I even recorded on my Xbox One for the first time because I was like, this is going down. This shit's momentous. I'm recording this, and I beat it, and it was awesome.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. I had Emily, I had been looking for it, finally found me the pop vinyl of Cuphead, and he's been sitting in a bag in the corner of the living room, and I said, I am not pulling him out of that bag until I beat this game. So he came out of the bag, and he's now proudly displayed on the shelf.
I was gonna say, you pulled him out of the bag and you taunted him and said, I beat you.
I'm like, you and me, we bested the devil, baby. It was beautiful. But yes, that was my geeky thing accomplishment over the weekend.
That's definitely an accomplishment.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, friends. Darren, what did you do, my friend, over the last couple of weeks since we talked?
I have done a lot of geeky things in the last 2 weeks, and I'm not ashamed of them.
Hey, never.
Yeah. One, I literally spent an entire day. It was over 1,000 pieces. I put together the Lego Sanctum Sanctorum.
It's beautiful, man. It looks amazing, man.
From Avengers Infinity War. It was so awesome.
And by the way, I have to cut you off because the reason why you opened that is because you got it as a birthday gift.
Yes.
There was a birthday in there somewhere, sir.
Oh, birthday was like a couple months ago.
That's right.
I got it. I decided to put it together.
We're rebirthing you.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was a while ago. I just couldn't remember for sure.
It was. Yes. It was, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I kind of put it together, and then I was like, my wife was saying, "Hey, do you want me to get you some glue? You want to color it together?" It's like, no, I'm not going to put the Craggle on it.
Yes, no Craggle. You saw what happens when that goes down.
Yeah.
The Craggle.
Yes.
I'm actually going to let the kids play with it, and they did.
Darren, are you also going to be getting the Shroud of Ben Daid and the Blade of Exact Zero?
Exactly. Yes, I am. But no, it was fun. I let them play with it, and they didn't destroy it, especially my 4-year-old.
Yes.
And now it's probably going to be in its permanent location, sitting on top of my desk.
Darren, real quick, man. What? Because my favorite thing of Lego sets is the minifigures. What minifigures did that set come with?
Came with Doctor Strange.
Yes, of course.
Hopefully.
Well, the other side of it is actually like looks like Peter Parker's apartment.
Ooh.
So it's like two-sided. So it came with Iron Spider.
Ooh.
Came with Iron Man.
Yes.
Came with Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian.
Okay. Nice. Good assortment of minifigures. I love it.
Yeah, I'm listening to you guys some picks.
Yes.
But other than that, yes, it has been. I've been reading a lot of comics. A lot of comics. You got read Doomsday Clock. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil anything.
All right.
Read it.
I'm going to read it.
Doctor Strange Damnation has been amazing by Donny Cates. It's Doctor Strange brings back Las Vegas after Secret Invasion, and Mephisto comes with it. So, and nice. Mephisto turns the Avengers into Ghost Riders. It is amazing. It's an amazing series. So that, and just reading a lot of reading a lot of comics.
Yes. And as always, posting the news up on the Superpowered Fancast. Keeping busy, burning the oils, candles at both ends, whatever you want to call it.
Every day.
Every day.
New content daily actually has to mean something in this world.
Yeah. I mean, that's not just a cool, catchy tagline.
I know. People say it all the time. They're just like, I looked at the date.
Yes.
You're not fooling anyone.
Yes, that's very Inigo Montoya. This word you keep saying, I do not think it means what you think it does. Yes. Oh, my friends. As always, it's been grand talking. Christina, close the lovely people out with your final thoughts for the week, my dear.
Everyone, just be good to each other, as I keep saying, because the world is kind of a scary place and people are being pretty nasty to each other. So be nice to people where you can and give somebody a smile or a nice word.
Yes.
Pick up a new book or something and read it. Your comic shop, support it.
Go watch Star Wars.
Go watch Star Wars and try not to ruin it for anybody else if you didn't like it.
Yeah.
Let people enjoy things.
Yes.
Yeah. You're allowed to not like it. That's totally fine. But
that also means people are allowed to love it.
Yeah, but just let people like it. Stop. Just if someone says, "Oh, I really liked it," and you hated it, just bite your tongue.
Shut it.
And not shit on their parade. Yeah. Go get Star Wars. Go watch Star Wars. Go watch. There's a new Forces of Destiny clip that came out with Ahsoka and Anakin and Padme, and it was really cute, and I liked it. It was super good. I posted it on my Facebook cosplay page, and yeah, just enjoy life.
Yes.
And if you'd like to follow me, it's Booba Fett on Facebook. Again, there's several of them, but they're liars. I was the first one. It's me in a Rebel pilot suit on Facebook, just Booba Fett, and then Booba Fett 83 on Instagram and Twitter.
Yay! Thank you, my friend. But I'm excited. I'm excited that you're back today. And
Me too.
If we don't see you next week, that means we'll be having a little one.
It could be because I had a baby.
Yeah, that's so awesome. It's exciting, my friend. All right, my friend. Loving all my best. Darren, generally, your thoughts for the ending of the week, my friend.
Hey, I mean, Christina touched on it. Be good. Be good people. You can be good people. I'm not saying you have to be, but I'm saying you can. You have the ability. You have the potential. Just use it every once in a while. You never know. The situation that you're in, that you get the result that you don't like, try changing something up. Try doing the opposite of what you're doing and see what the outcome is.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Be, support people who believe in things.
Yep.
Right? Someone that has an opinion, someone that thinks about something before they say it. Just kind of let people enjoy things. Learn to enjoy things yourself. Very simple things to do.
Yeah.
And you can find me enjoying all the things.
Yes.
On Twitter at Superpowered Fan, and writing for superpowerfancast.com, and the Geeks World.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, my friend, as always, for your insight, your knowledge, your wisdom, and your amazingness. And for my final thought, I'm going to pose a question to you guys. It doesn't have to be answered now. I want to answer it next time we meet, okay? But I want to know, since we're getting very close to Infinity War, and since you guys said all these beautiful, amazing, prolific things that I could just say, repeat what they said, okay? So I'll say something not quite so profound and geeky, okay? But I want to know what your guys, and it could be from the movies, from TV, from cartoons, what is your favorite moment of the MCU over the last 10 years as we're getting ready to hit Infinity War, and it's been 10 years since we started this journey? I want to know what your guys' favorite moment is. I will come up with mine, and we'll talk about it with the beautiful people on air next time. Deal?
Deal.
All right, deal. Let's do it. All right. As always, you can find us on the Twitter sphere at _GeekSide pod. That's the good old Twitters related to our specific show. You can find the whole crew over at thegww.com for all the biggest, best, and brand new news in the world of geek. And you can find me on Twitter at Darth Sparrow. You can find me at that same place on Instagram. As always, my friends, have an excellent week. Whatever you do something fun, do something awesome, do something geeky. Tell the people in your life you love them. Have a great time, and come back next week to take another walk on the geek side.